All right, we are really happy today to have Coach Ron McKeefery with us, with our staff here at Total Performance Training Center to do an in-service. Coach McKeefery today is going to talk about football training, his summer plan, and then he's also going to talk about some of the things that he's learned since school as being a strength and conditioning coach that he didn't learn in school and he learned on the job. If you're not already familiar with Coach McKeefery, he served several years as the head strength and conditioning coach at the University of South Florida. He spent a couple of years at University of Tennessee. He spent a year with the Cincinnati Bengals recently, and now he's at Eastern Michigan University with their football program. He's put out multiple programs online, including Strength on Demand, which is an amazing product with is there like 100 different clinics, videos. There's a clinic that you can watch every single week on there. His strength coach boot camp, is that what you call it? Strength coach basic training, which is essentially breaks down. It's an online version of his internship program that's kind of become famous for really helping other coaches break into the field, learn how to be strength coaches, and to be professional. So he's done a lot of stuff for people in this profession, and it's really cool for us to have him here to help educate our staff on some of the things that he's doing. So appreciate you being here, Ron.
All right. Guys, I appreciate you having me, and as you guys all know, Jim and I have been friends for an awfully long time, and he's one of the go-to guys for me when it comes to the profession, life, and most particularly speed, but it has had a profound impact on our program in terms of speed development. But I want to introduce Fred Hale. Fred's one of our assistants at Eastern Michigan. Was with me at Tennessee for a little bit, and fortunately he was able to get him up here to Eastern with us, and great athlete, great strength coach, and right-hand guy for me over there. Yeah, we're coming from training today. We're in the fourth week of our summer program. We had groups this morning, and we'll get a little bit into how we kind of break things down as we go. But the first 3 weeks was discretionary, which is a unique time, especially when you're taking over a program and trying to change a culture. 30 years of losing. Let's be honest, with the program. There's a lot more things that happen, between the 6 inches between the ears than the 6 feet below it, and that's probably more of what we're about. I think we have a very solid program, but I think we are exceptional when it comes to training the psychology of the athlete and really getting guys to buy into what we're selling, and so I think that starts if and guys, I apologize, I meant to do a whole PowerPoint for you, but as you guys know with this profession, it's a challenge just to and I don't want to do a bad job with it. So feel free. I have lots of resources. I'll send you our summer manual, all our programming, and it breaks things down even more detail. But I kind of pulled out some things that, from previous presentations in our summer manual that kind of summarize what we do. Very first thing, and one of the things that we had to walk into was really sitting down and talking about our goals as a program, our goals as an organization, and then each player's individual goals. And as you know, in society today, sometimes we put self before team, and we had to really address that with our program. And so I've been very fortunate with Eastern Michigan. The reason why I chose Eastern Michigan is because the head football coach was my college football coach my senior year in college. And, we were 1-9 my junior year and turned it around and went 9-1 my senior year with this 26-year-old first-time head football coach and as a 21-year-old senior. And so in 1 year, he made a tremendous impact on me and in my career, not just my playing career, but my coaching career, on the importance of team. And so if you look at that first page there, having some goals of an organization, programs, and I know, guys, you've probably given these types of presentations to coaches that you've worked with, or most teams will step up and they'll say, hey, look, here's our quick slide about the goals. But and I'll be honest, I've been guilty of that myself. throughout my career. But the reality is that, you know, I'm really spending a lot more time really understanding and putting effort into our goals each and every phase. And so for us, you know, it's things like learning winning edge values, so discipline and accountability and selflessness and team and leadership, and really putting as much time into those things as we are the X's and O's of our strength and conditioning program. And I tell you, you know, if you can get the team to buy into you as a person first. I always tell our athletes that I care about them more as people than I do as players, and you have to back that up. You know, we always talk with our guys about how we have them for 2 hours out of the day, but they have 22 hours to mess up everything we just did. So if we're not a part of those other 22 hours, then we're fighting a losing battle. You know, and so I mean, if they ate terrible and come in and train, we're fighting a losing battle. If they didn't sleep right, we're fighting a losing battle. If they're putting bad things in their body, not making wise choices socially, we're fighting a losing battle. And so we have to have an impact and be that little guardian angel on their shoulder throughout the day, you know, and provide them and arm them with information that's gonna give them the opportunity to make wise choices. And so, you know, learning winning edge values, we spend a lot of time on. The next thing is demonstrate individual investment. You know, this is as a team goal. It's not just, don't just talk about it, be about it. You know, and make sure that they're showing up and finding opportunities to acknowledge them for demonstrating selfless acts. You know, part of being a team, and that's why I think you guys enjoy working with football, and why a lot of you enjoyed playing football, and it's why I love coaching football, is because it's a team sport. You know, I was a pretty good wrestler, but I would throw up before every match because I was so I hated being the individual out on the mat. You know, and I love the team environment. I was a national champion, an All-American in wrestling. But he loves team dynamics and finding opportunities to reward our guys, to acknowledge our guys for individual investment into the program is huge. And having that pride transfer over into not only their play on the field, but in our weight room and what we're trying to accomplish in there. When they can walk out and they're like, man, I got the freaking best strength coach in America, and they believe that with every fiber of their body and their DNA, I tell you what, we're gonna accomplish some things in our weight room. And now, if they walk out and they're like, man, that guy, he just cares about me when the coaches come around, and you know, I yell a little bit louder when we're coaching that set. He's gonna, you know, that's not very much. There's not gonna be a whole lot of individual investment by that guy and what we're trying to do. You know, obviously it's become the biggest, fastest, most physical team in the conference, and you know, that's a bold statement, especially in some of the conferences that I've been in, you know, and leagues that I've been able to work in. But you know, our guys have to feel like the program is going to address how to become bigger, how to become faster, tougher, all those types of things. And if they don't believe that, again, it's if the grass is always greener, then they're gonna go find opportunity. They're gonna go to the internet. They're gonna go to their brother's cousin's uncle that's a personal trainer somewhere. You know, they're not going to come to you. And we challenge our guys. In fact, we were late getting out today because we had players coming back that were, you know, talking about those other 22 hours and being involved in those other 22 hours. You know, when they're coming back, hey, coach, man, what should I eat today? I had trouble choosing between this or this, or you know, can I go out and do some extra conditioning right now, or how does that fit into our program? You know, and they truly believe that you're going to be the one to get them bigger, faster, and stronger. You're going to be able to accomplish things. You know, improve football-specific skills. You know, I think this is something where, again, as strength coaches, especially as young strength coaches, you know, you get so caught up in squats and benches, press numbers, and how much they lifted and what your percentage of increase for the team is, what, all these different ratios and things that don't matter. At the end of the day, I mean, my job is to help us win football games, and so a major piece of that and a major chunk of our training year, I mean, we train 12 months for 4 months. But if we say that our 4 months is only limited to getting our guys better in their skill acquisition, again, we're not going to be a very good football team, But if we are versed in coaching techniques for different position groups and incorporating different types of training, hand-eye coordination, and different types of balance training and things like that, they're going to make us better athletes on the field. And if we're able to speak the language that our coaches are speaking, and so we're a common thread throughout our entire organization, and they're getting better, and they believe they're getting better every day as a football player, then again, it's an easy sell, And I think we're always selling ourselves to our athletes. It's a daily pitch, because there is a lot of mistrust. There's been a lot of things that have gone on in a lot of these guys' lives. If you read Generation IY by Tim Elmore, and how it's the most connected, most intelligent generation that we deal with, but it's also the most disconnected when it comes to human interaction. There's a lot of things that are going on right now in society that make our job that much tougher. And so we have to find that way of gaining that trust each and every day and selling our program each and every day. And so doing, stressing football, what's the common thing? They may not like to lift weights, but they love playing football. That's what they're doing. That's why they do what they do. And so we're constantly, throughout our day, finding opportunities to relate what we're doing back to their play, and what they're trying to accomplish in their own game. So we got a young corner that's got to put on size. He's been hurt each of the last 2 years. Every day I'm walking by and talking about building armor and being able to withstand blows so that he can turn around and give blows. Because he just doesn't want to take them; he wants to give them as well. And I tell you what, every time I put it back like, hey, we're going to take some, but we're going to give a hell of a lot more, his eyes light up. And we can go do anything. Hey, go close your eyes and touch your nose and do a single leg squat and catch this ball or something. And coach is going to make me better? Yeah, let's go. And so sometimes when you're able to pull that stuff off, there's people out there that can do a lot of that coach speak, but they can't back it up with solid programming. And so they fail ultimately. They may win in the short term, but they fail ultimately. So that's why you have to balance these things out with principles and things like that we'll talk about as we go.
Ron, what have you found in your experience, current and past, from position coaches and other football coaches that have been the best fit for what you do? Like, do they buy in 100%, or do they give you suggestions, or do they come into the weight room? What works?
Yeah, I think when you're dealing with professionals, and it's the old adage, you gotta give respect to get respect. And when you respect the profession of being a football coach and all that goes into, especially at the college level, the recruiting and the time away from family and the hours and the game planning and the dealing with the sports psychology of a kid that's parents died and that doesn't have any money and this, that, and the other. And when you respect that and you show that, you're going to get that in return. And as long as you're prepared each day as if they prepare for their job, and you can defend and present your material in a good package and simplistic package. So when you start talking over their head, and we're talking about myofibrils and rate of contraction and all, you're gone. You're gone. But if you can put it back into a good solid pitch that makes sense and how it's going to relate again to football, they'll buy into you. And so to answer your question, I like as much involvement as possible because I think it only strengthens our positioning with the players. And if you look at yourself as purely a department within the organization, then that's how it's going to be treated. You know, you got the sports medicine department and the strength and conditioning department and the nutrition department, but then you got football. And that's the organization. But if you are the organization, and that common thread that we were talking about earlier is going throughout, and so I'm speaking their language, they're speaking my language. I know when they go upstairs, they're talking about how great our program is. I know when they come downstairs, I'm talking about how great our position coaches are. I think that only strengthens the positioning with your players. You combine that with the opportunities to present, and I think, you know, so many times what happens is I write my program, I sit down with Fred, I write my program, and this is the best program on paper, and that's it. That's what we're doing. No suggestions, no how. The problem with football, especially at the higher levels of football, you're dealing with people that have all gone through a strength and conditioning program and all seen success in some facet because of their 18 to 20-year-olds. And no matter what they did, they're going to see some success. And most of them went on and played at a high level and seen it done at a high level and been working with people that have done it at a high level. You know, and so if you allow yourself the opportunity to learn and say, hey, this is what we're thinking, what have you seen, what have you done, what are some suggestions, most of the time they're going to yield to your expertise. You know, however, every once in a while they're going to be like, you know what, when we did one of the agilities, you know, we did that drill, but we ended up switching it for this drill because the logistics or something. You know what? Pretty good idea. You know, and if it's a give and take, just like when they're doing W drill or running hoops, and I walk over there and I'm talking about, hey, let's use our arms when we're running. Let's get our arms at 90 degrees and let's go cheek to cheek. You know, they're willing to accept that, just like I'm willing to accept, you know, hey, this is something I saw. What do you think? You know, and again, you gotta present. I always feel like we present and you knock out 90% of problems with communication on the front end. Hey, this is what we're thinking about doing. Now's your opportunity. So now, 6 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now, 10 weeks from now, when maybe it isn't working, maybe we're 0-10. Hey, we put this thing together. You know, we put it together with all of us, not just me. And so it eliminates the finger pointing that way. You know, so I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, 2 quick last goals, and we'll move on, is you know, obviously decreasing the risk of overuse injuries. You know, we want to keep our players on the field and finding those opportunities throughout your program to reinforce why, you know, hey, we're training unilaterally because, you know, you're going to be put in this cockeyed position and you're trying to catch the defensive end coming off the edge, and we got to be able to stabilize, you know, and being able to, again, relate it back, but then also point out plenty of opportunities where it's going to help them on the field and help them stay healthy, because none of them want to be hurt. And I think the last one that you know, I spend a lot of time on is making sure that our kids are having fun. You know, we want, and this is what's great about the organization I'm in now, is that this is what the head coach is all about, Coach Creighton, and he instilled it in me, and it's been a part of my career for 17 years, but it started as man, we can have fun and still get better. We can have fun and still win ball games. And we don't have to be just in the weight room to go have fun. So it could be, you know, on a beach somewhere doing a beach workout. It could be running agilities in the snow. It could be going and taking the senior class and climbing a mountain. It could be things like that. That all those things are going to come back and they're going to help you when you do go ask them to give more than that they want to give in January when there's no football game right around the corner. So giving them, and Coach Creighton says it really well, and it's really what I've preached my whole time, is that we want the experience of coming in and working with our coaches and training with our program to be one of the best experiences of their life. You know, my lifting partner in college was in my wedding. You know, he's the guy and his family that we vacationed together, you know, 18, 19 years later. You know, and so we really stress the importance of a lifting partner, but those are the types of relationships you can form by blood, sweat, and tears together, you know, and so it makes a big deal.